Hey, bub. This is Wolverine. You're watching Pro Teaches Noobs. This is OG Vegeta. Let's get the views to over 9,000! This is Ryuk. Watch, like, and subscribe, or die.
Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teaches Noob. Today with me, Jared.
What's going on?
And today we're going over Superman, the last days of Lex Luthor, the spiritual successor to Birthright.
Hell yeah.
Yep, and we have Mark Waid, Brian Hitch. Yeah, finally finished.
Yeah, exactly. I got the first issue like years ago.
So did I. But to be fair, it wasn't Wade's fault, it was Hitch's fault.
I'll give you that.
But yeah, let's dive in. Lex, I'm sorry. Let me in. Lex, for God's sake, open the door. Lex. See, this is a bit that's right out of Birthright. Yeah, him just pounding at everything, but it does play out a little differently. The last days of Lex Luthor. Off the coastal islands of Bangladesh, a ship began lurching violently, unexpectedly. The skies were blue and cloudy. There was no storm. Whatever threatened the ship that day, it wasn't weather. What is that? Oh my God, what's it doing? Where's it going? This is live, right? Hey, Kent, can you check the AP feed? Kent? On the tiny coastal island of Mekwip, and like most of its neighbors, lies a mere 6 feet above sea level, meaning if you were to strike its surface with enough concentrated force, high-pressure seawater would fill up fault lines old and new, eroding the ground enough to sink the island. And Mekwip was crumbling. There was no escape. All right. Nonetheless, the people of Mekwip roared not with panic, but with hope. To the surprise of everyone, the resultant damage claimed not one life that day. The origins of the machine itself, however, were a mystery. The robot's hull was lined with lead, blocking Superman's X-ray vision. Nevertheless, what it contained could hardly have been a surprise.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, okay, a purple and green robot. Yeah. I wonder who that is.
Of course, you. Got a minute? Superman knew instantly something was off about Luthor. I knew instantly something. Okay, I like that. He's typing it. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, it's all good.
Don't you hate when you cook something and it doesn't come out right, but you realize that after you turn off the oven?
Yeah.
All right, like you. Well, yeah. I knew instantly something was off about Luthor, and I twitching his muscles, his labor breathing, but that wasn't my primary concern at the moment. The island, still quaking, was on the brink of total collapse, with not nearly enough time to gather and relocate its inhabitants. Saving them all was impossible, but I don't believe in impossible. I do, however, believe in math. Remembering an emerging geological theory Clark had reported on, I focused my super hearing. Once I was able to calculate the wavelengths of the seismic tremors buckling on the ground, I began at super speed to drill a targeted series of echo chambers, angered precisely to disrupt the wave's propagation, building essentially an earthquake reflector, immediately ending the tremors. Okay, I like when people now, more and more nowadays, just come up with more scientifically accurate means of displacing something.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, Superman would know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nicely done. Why? Why? I wanted to get your attention. By nearly slaughtering countless innocent people, good thing you saved absolutely everybody then. Or did you? Some, of course, I do like how Lex is like, oh yeah, sure, nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But then something in his mocking tone set my mind racing. It was unlikely that Luthor had built a robot this massive single-handedly. So where had it come from? It took a split second to remember that India had been developing a combat machine like this one, and it was man. How many corpses are in here, Lex? How could and those technicians' lives mean nothing to you? And this was all to get my attention? For what reason? For what possible reason? You have microscopic vision. Look at me. Look hard. Examine my cardiovascular system, my nervous system, my cellular structure. What do you see? You're dying. Very good, doctor. Rapid cellular decay. Quite rapid. How? How it did this? Same old, same old. I was experimenting with some kryptonite. You know, a Tuesday. It was the gift of a recent meteor shower. I was bombarding it with various forms of radiation in hopes of getting results I could synthesize. It backfired, rather unexpectedly and rather badly. The sample shattered. It was bathed in a unique combination of rays from up and down the electromagnetic spectrum. Along with fate only knows what chemicals and pathogens it may have combined with in my labs. When I came to, an exhaustive round of blood work confirmed the worst. The cells in my body were burning out. Relax. I know how scary the color green is to you, but as you can tell, there's no lingering radiation, no residual K particles whatsoever. No danger to you, only to me. Rest assured, I left no techno-mechanical stone unturned, searching for a way to diagnose and reverse my condition. It is difficult and as humbling as it is to admit, the greatest intellect in human history came up with nothing. At the rate I'm deteriorating, it's made I have at best only a few days to live. I'm sorry to hear. See, right there. There's the signature Superman compassion. The whole world's going to be dancing in the streets at this news, but not you. And that is what I'm banking on. That Superman won't let me die. In our long history, you've consistently demonstrated many irrational traits, but only one that's utterly unfathomable to me. Superman always answers cries for help. Superman always puts others first. He saves people. Superman made a solemn vow to hold all lives sacred, even mine. This is a trap, an obvious conclusion, but I can assure you it is not. Go scratch your itch to reassemble this pathetic blight of a city. Then do your super senses thing again. See for yourself. So I do. Polygraphs with their limited reliability ferret out lies crudely by measuring pulse rates and galvanic skin responses. By contrast, I can literally track the increase in flow of blood to a lion's amygdala. I can smell the molecules of dopamine, a falsehood releases into the brain. Long ago, I had memorized the exact timbre of Luthor's pulse rate and the neural patterns of his prefrontal cortex. And thus I knew you're telling the truth. But I can't be. You can't be. You can never willingly come to me for anything. That's what I would have said a week ago. But I suppose terminal illness prescribes a radical shift of priorities. I'm willing to lower myself to indebtedness to my worst enemy for two reasons. First and most critically, at the end of the day, I refuse to acknowledge a universe without me in it. Make no mistake. If I say yes, if you live, you'll answer for your crimes. All of them. I'll see to it personally. And I've taken this into account. And what? Are you asking me to promise full surrender in return? Are you actually making your aid conditional? Of course not. That's not you. Well, you'll help me find a cure? I don't really have a choice, so yes. But we keep this between us. Too late. And that's when I heard it. Superman! My name spoken all at once around the world. in horror. And Perry, Superman wouldn't actually, damn you, Luthor. Let's go, people. Clear the front page now. Right. My second reason. See, I've been broadcasting our conversation live to every corner of the earth. I just couldn't resist seeing the look on your face when you heard the global reaction as you announced to the world that loves you that you were about to save the life of the Earth's single most despised villain. You venomous. Suppose I'd said no, but you couldn't. You're predictable. And now this world will finally see how easy you are to hate. It's not that difficult, frankly. I've loathed you since the moment I first laid eyes on you. That wasn't true. But what do you think about the start so far? One,
I like it.
This is traditional Lex, old school or new, whatever Lex, where he can play Superman like a fiddle at the best of times. Of course, at the worst of times, he's in over his head. 1 second again. I mean, it makes sense though that Lex is that desperate. Because really, if he can't do it, who else can, right? He can't go to the Justice League. He knows they're not that predictable. Superman's the only one who can do it, and he knows and what to do. Though Luthor could not have known that. Hey, we're talking to you, freakazoid! Look at the new kid. Can't even hold on to his Weedle school books. Well, pick them up. I don't need them. I only carry them so people like you people won't feel like morons. Oh yeah, you. Lex, run. Well, if it isn't old McDonald. E-I-E-I-O. Guess the snow was heavier than it looked. Lex, boy, you got unlucky. They think I'm a freak today, Kent. They'll think it tomorrow. Nothing changes. Like, why aren't you at home milking something? I got an hour's detention for arguing with Mrs. Roseberry about my grade. Your answer's right. The question's wrong. Nobody else in class caught that. Just me and Mrs. Roseberry didn't want to listen. Jesus, I really think calling you the smartest cowhand in Smallville is damning with faint praise, Ken. But promise me you'll get out as fast as you can. I like it here. If you just give it a chance, you will too. Here? A village of cavemen? How? Lex, calm down. It's not a big how. Lex was, to put it mildly, a volatile boy. Anxious, quirky, prone in a wild mood swing whenever he felt unchallenged, which was constantly. The kind of mind that comes along once every 100 years, so full of information that it simply had no room for emotional intelligence. God, I swear that kid. I was the closest thing Lex had to a friend on those rare occasions when he tolerated me. He was never malevolent, not back then. And weirdo, ought to run him out of town. Okay, where do you stand between this and Birthright? How it showed that Smallville could be really dickish.
I mean, it's realistic. It's like, yes, there's going to be lots of. Although, here's the thing: you could say that maybe that's in response to the way Lex treats other people.
True, but as was shown even in Birthright, he was trying to do good. It's just that they couldn't handle him because of their simple, small town, small folks mindset.
That's true.
No one could think like him, so no one understood him. So they just thought, you're in the wrong off the bat. I mean, look at what happened with Clark here. He caught an answer was wrong, but no one wants to accept it because they're just so used to just taking what's in the book. Like that's a true. Small town would. I'm not saying all small towns down there, but let's be honest. They're simple folk. And I don't mean that as an insult, just as a state of fact. But just arrogant. Lex actually tried at first to help others, but always on his terms, and generally without bothering to ask. Yeah, that's the other downside. He doesn't bother to ask. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Your exhaust leaks. I'm converting it to solar. I said, get away from my tractor. Damn it, boy. This is how I provide for my family. You don't touch my equipment without permission. If I catch you around here again, punk, I'm calling Chief Parker. Fine. Pollute the whole town, you lackwit. Now notice how the guy's not even listening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, Lex didn't ask. The guy would have said, but he also knew the guy would have said no.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. That's the one thing I think Mark Waid did something unique for Lex, revealing he and Superman are more alike than they think.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you know what would be cool elsewhere I just saw if I could do?
What?
Lex Luthor, last son of Earth.
Hmm.
Where instead of Clark being sent to Krypton, it's Lex.
Sent to Krypton. Oh, that would be interesting.
And imagine if he grew up raised by Jor-El.
Hmm.
Imagine someone of an intellectual equal.
But would he have the intellect if he was sent as a baby?
Well, no, this has been made clear. This was a natural intellect. He clearly didn't pick it up from anyone.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Would you really think he got it from his father?
No.
Or Smallville's education system? No.
Mm-mm.
This was a natural intellect he had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, just and imagine how that could have gone.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to think of it further, but on that one, but just that basic premise.
Mm-hmm.
The folks of Smallville were good people. They just couldn't handle Lex's intensity. Lex saw it differently. To him, their disdain was simply more proof that he was too smart for this world. So he pondered worlds beyond. Lex was obsessed with proving the existence of extraterrestrial life, unaware that the only boy in town who felt any kinship with him whatsoever was all the evidence he needed. Hi, so much for peace and quiet. And thought you like some company. I'm perfectly fine by myself, McDonald. E-I-E-I-O. Did you notice the comet that's comet this side of Canis Minor? Don't be ridiculous. There's not a comet due in this solar system for another 3 years. How'd you know where to look? Who, me? I was just messing around. You're telling me you just discovered a comet? Who else did you show this to? No one. Nobody else. Nobody else I know would much care. You should find out if you can lay claim. You should find out if you can lay claim to it, or we could just enjoy how beautiful it is. I showed Mr. Hubbard the exhaust leak you told me about. So it was just your attitude that put him off. Maybe you should try to be kinder to people. Why bother? What do I get out of that? Look, maybe just apologize and he'll let you. Apologize for what? What do I owe him now? What do I owe anyone here in Hickville? You're the lucky one, McDonald. You don't have to wonder why fate would abandon you to a place where there was no one else even remotely like you. Back then, the most frustrating thing about being different was how I had to keep locked inside of me. How much I had to keep locked inside of me. Not just the fact that I have powers, but the way the world appeared to me when I used them. My ears heard the music of electromagnetic waves. My eyes could find colors there were no names for. I tried explaining these things to Mom and Pa, talking about the science of it, but God bless them, it was just a little over their heads. I would given anything to share all that with someone, anyone who'd actually understand. But there's been nobody. Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
And now there was, but every conversation we had ended up one of two ways. Either Lex would get set off by something random, or I remember the promise I made to Mom and Pa to keep my real self secret. No matter what. Happy Saturday, Clark. Any big plans? Clark, your mother's talking to you. I recognize that look. Don't spy, son. Sorry, it's just I'm worried about Lex for being an odd duck, for holding up for weeks in that lab he built. Mrs. Roseberry figures he'd drop out of school. I knocked a bunch of times, but he won't come to the door. He's been getting deliveries from all over the world. He's building something, Pa. Something big. Clark, enough. Eat your breakfast. What kind of something? No clue. All I can tell is that he's building it around some weird rock. Hearing me at all, I mean. And I don't love being 20,000 feet in the air when your mind wanders. I'm almost unaccustomed to not being the center of your attention. And it's unnerving. If you're wondering what Mr. and Mrs. Metropolis think of all this, it's not relevant. A mission's a mission. Where are we going then? Where I keep things that I consider private. Superman has a closet. I call it my fortress of solitude. I put in the art to keep people like you away. Oh my, this is quite the treehouse, isn't it? I never took you for a hoarder. I can't believe you let me inside. Had to. It's the only way to reach Kandor. What's a Kandor? What am I looking at? An alien ant farm? If you've not found a cure for your illness, then I doubt there's one on Earth. Meaning we look elsewhere. Put this on. It'll keep you from contaminating the city as well as translating the language. It's also curbed the artificial gravity, so you won't splinter your bones. While we pay a visit to some old acquaintances of mine. You should be feeling honored. This is a place not even most of my friends have seen. Goodness, I hope they sell commemorative keychains. This is the bottle city of Kandor, home to the wisest scientists in the galaxy, and the last surviving remnants of Krypton. I'm confused. I thought your homeworld exploded. Last sun and all that. Kal-El! Hail Kal-El! Hail Kal-El! Savior of Krypton! Hail! Hail! Friends, please, there's no need for ceremony, and I refuse to look down upon my fellow Kryptonians. Rise, all of you. Decades ago, just before... Obviously, I'm not going to read it all, but he's summarizing so much about, Brainiac and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, I like how this is taking elements from things, but, okay, do you really think this is a sequel, like in the most loosest sense?
To which story?
Birthright.
Elements, yes.
Yeah, it's questionable because we still have no clue if Lex was a businessman yet.
Plus, of course, if it's written by the same guy that wrote Birthright, there's going to be plot points that are carried over.
Right, but it also does feel like the emphasis on their old childhood friendship was important to Birthright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's why I feel, like I say it's as close to being a sequel as not being a one-to-one sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the meantime, because its inhabitants have no powers here, it's safest in the fortress. No, yo, son, you're powerless right now. You mean I could kill you where you stand? You could try. That's why you keep it in here. Come on, you just like having it handy for when you get homesick. Not especially. At first, I was eager to explore my people's culture, but despite my protestation, the Kandorians hold their liberator so ridiculously in awe that it's impossible to effectively assimilate. I like that. He's not looking down on Krypton, but because they look at him as savior, it's so off-putting. I mean, I'd be the same way. I'd be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. Would you feel the same way if you were in his shoes, where you're like, I can't do this?
It'd be intimidating, yeah.
Yeah, because Superman's so humble that that would make him off-put. Lex, on the other hand,
he doesn't see himself as a god.
Or a savior in that regard. Savior in the literal sense, yes. Savior in the worshipping sense, yes. Yeah, exactly. No, definitely. There's something else as well. I've come to learn the reason Krypton was such a wonderfully advanced science was because cold science, not humanism, was its universal religion. So, I gotta say, for someone who didn't care for what Byrne did, he's clearly taking that element from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kryptonians were certainly a benevolent and empathic race. Okay, that's different from Byrne. Capable of great kindness, but they revered knowledge. To be fair, that is a little true to pre-crisis. They just never emphasized it.
Yeah.
So there is some truth, and I guess Waid is looking and realizing there might have been Byrne might have been on the right idea. He just went overboard.
Yeah.
I think that's how Waid is looking at it. Like, yeah, that's one way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So fundamental that they had a tendency to sometimes value science over compassion. You like it here. Ha!
Mm-hmm.
He's telling that Lex, you like it here.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, to what do we owe the great honor of your presence? I'll be with you, Driger Maulum. I have with me an Earthman who has contracted a terminal disease of unknown origin. I was hoping you might provide him a diagnose scan and, if possible, treatment. The next few hours, Luthor was put through a battery of tests so alien to him that even he had difficulty making sense of them. Kryptonian science analyzed every atom and gained clarity, and not enough of it. We can find no cure. The good news is, whatever sickness is consuming the Earthling system is unlikely to be transmitting it to another organism. That is unfortunate because it is feeding directly off his unique DNA and metasizing at an exponential rate, independent of his natural metabolism, meaning not even cryogenic state is an option. He will begin to age more rapidly as his organs gradually fail. From Rondor rays to neochemistry, we know of no way to extract or nullify the disease. Most brilliant scientists in the galaxy. I'd like to meet their PR firm. He said the systems are accelerating. If this is a trap, Lex, now's the time to spring it. Time? Can time be stopped? Do these overrated wonder wizards of yours have any way to completely arrest my metabolism? I could think of only one, but it's the old saw. The cure is worse than the disease. Worse than dying? How? I'll let you be the judge. Take them to the Phantom Zone!
Okay.
As a young man, my father discovered a dimension adjacent to ours. Gentlemen, retrieve me the 10 dinero. Retrieve me in 10 dendaro. No more. It's where the Grand Court of Krypton would exile their absolute worst criminals. Those judged to be without any capability whatsoever of reform or remorse or reform. Father called it the Phantom Zone. I could hear you. Telepathy. Hear you. Telepathy. The only means to communicate in a realm devoid of atmosphere, devoid of everything, it looks like. What are the physics of this place? Hit me. What? You've been waiting for that opportunity for years. Go on. Take your best shot. And that's the natural state of living organism in the zone. You're now incorporation and subsequent transformation of solid molecules into a cohesive cloud of dark energy capable of sustaining brainwaves. I'm not an idiot. But here, I can exist indefinitely without aging or requiring sustenance. Am I correct? Largely, but as you can guess from your telepathy, your mental state is amplified here. That, they say, given enough determination and willpower, it's possible to make yourself temporarily solid enough to interact with the terrain. Though I can't imagine why you'd want to. To remain in the zone, that'll buy us some time. And don't worry, they can't hurt you. They being, yes, a prison requires prisoners, does it not? Every once in a while, this dimension aligns with ours long enough for the prisoners to get hazy glimpses of Earth. When that happens, they focus enough attention on me that I'm confident they've learned who you are. Hello. Me, they loathe. They'll welcome you with open arms. You're a fool for coming here, Kal-El. Zod, General Zod, and these inmates here, they are my army. Kal-El, son of our jailer, kill him! It was the shock of my life. Under Zod, the enraged prisoners had learned to pool their mental energy with such white-hot intensity. Not only had they made themselves solid, they'd done it to me as well. Lex, help me! Determination and willpower. Easy as pie. Who did he think he was talking to? You learn swiftly. I'm impressed. Join us, Lex Luthor. Carve the beating heart from Kal-El's chest. General, I'd love to. But I need him. Call off your house. You buffoon! This is your moment! I'm not saying no to your offer in the grand scheme. I'm simply demanding a rank check until my fortunes change. Call them off! Dispel! You will regret this, Earthling! About this on. Hey, Superman. And how many, what did you call them? Tendaros? How many Tendaros is 10? About this many. Be careful here, Lex. And there. Was that so hard? Don't think of it as a defeat. Think of it as a delayed gratification. He'll come back to get me once he's found my cure. At that point, have it. And have at. See, this is what happens when someone polysymbolic comes around. I'm Lex frickin' Luthor. I had this whole solid spirit thing mastered in the time it takes you to spell your name. You're no threat to me, Banquo. So what do you say? You and your gorillas keep your distance, while you slowly realize that you and I stand to get along just fine. You dare speak to me as an equal? Earthling, depart this realm. Depart. Ah! What the? Well, that's new. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that took a bit out of me. Lex, how did they? Let's just say they rolled out the welcome way. They hated me so much they were able to combine their willpower enough to shove me out. Zod wouldn't recognize an ally if they showed up wearing a giant bow and brought cake. That's unfortunate. I don't know of any other place to hold you in stasis like the zone. Then we're burning daylight, aren't we? Surely Candor wasn't your only idea. Let's get moving. Hello. we were observing. We nearly lost you over that monster. Even in candor, we are aware of Lex Luthor's limitless capacity for evil. Surely your world would be safer should he expire, would it not? Probably. And why? Why are you so focused on such a creature that you would risk so much? Lex, let me in, please. Open the door. I'm sorry, Lex. Forgive me. This is my fault.
Pretty good first issue.
Yeah.
And then I remember looking at the bottom of the issue 1 where it says issue 2 on sale September 2023. And I'm like, oh, it's been that long?
Yep.
Wow.
To be fair, though, yeah, Hitch had to deal with Venom. He had to deal with Redcoat.
But yeah, I get it, but I'm glad they didn't just cancel it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Think he's watching all this, Lois? I sincerely hope not. Should Lex Luthor save him? 89 against, 5%, 6% for, and 5% undecided. How come? Shouldn't he know the entire world thinks he's making the wrong call? Wouldn't matter, Jimmy. Superman doesn't decide who he helps based on voting. He's doing what he believes is right. Kent? Is anyone saying Kent? And I get that, but Lex Luthor is, all the horror and suffering he's caused over the years. Do you honestly think this world would be a better place without him in it? Do I? No. Then why doesn't Superman Then why doesn't Superman stop someone like that permanently before he can hurt anyone ever again? Because he knows that's not his choice to make. Superman doesn't kill. Full stop. If he gives in and snaps Luthor's neck, why not the Jokers? Then Deathstroke. How about Putin? And it's a long list. It's Luthor. That's a special case. Is it? I imagine Superman gets tempted. But a man who can turn literally anybody into ash with a glance has to set boundaries. Because once the restraints are broken, there's no point in stopping. Killing is easy. That's not him. Superman exists to find solutions where ordinary people can't. Take that away from him, he's not Superman. Do you honestly think this world would be a better place without him in it? Thanks, Lois. You have somewhere to be. Like I would leave you alone in my fortress for 2 seconds? We still have plenty of avenues to search for your cure. Right now, we're off to visit the smartest man I've ever met. Excuse me? Sorry, but he has the edge. He doesn't waste his brainpower in petty schemes. Whatever. What's that? Gift from an old friend. A flight ring. You can already fly. You know that, right? It's also a homing device. I gotta say, I love trollish Lex.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Lex has been out? He's just so sarcastic.
Me too.
It helps me pinpoint our destination on its point of origin, which is where, not where, when. Welcome to the 31st century, Lex. Oh, look at that.
That's a dope splash page.
Yeah, that is awesome. Meet the Legion of Superheroes, protector of the Earth and beyond, 1,000 years in the future, an interplanetary Knights of the Round Table, brought together as kids to defend the galaxy from the menaces like the Fatal Five here. So you're a fan? Used to be a member. Still am, I suppose. Lex, these are my friends, the Legionnaires. I've known them since I was a teenager. Knew us, you inspired us. Greif, the Legion wouldn't exist without the legend of Superman. Lovely. So I suppose I spawned a Legion of supervillains? Luthor, was it? Can't say as I... Wait, wasn't that Metallo's name? Pretty sure it was Parasite. No, Prankster. Ha! Good one! Oh, like your pals are a riot. Why would history remember you and not me? Let's hope it's not because you died young. I hadn't been joking earlier. Despite his arrogance, in terms of intellect, Lex would have to settle for the silver medal. The gold goes to Brainiac 5 of the planet Kalu, who has a mind that contains data gathered from thousands of worlds. Brainiac 5 is a title. The man's name is Queerdox. I need a favor. Already on it. The other signaled ahead. You can deposit your baggage in the meta chair. Your friend's looking at me like Diane Fossey looks at apes. I'm displeased. You're displeased? I'm the one examining an ape.
Mhm. I love Brainiac. See, here's the thing: Brainiac is one of those characters that he can be funny with dry humor.
Exactly. But at the same time, you do have to rein him in to not be too arrogant, even though his arrogance is based in fact.
Mm-hmm.
With Shadow Woman serving as our telepathic link, I became Brainy's telescopic vision eye, seeing beyond molecules and atoms to scrutinize Luthor's quarks, Golans and moons and graviton. From here, Brainy had me dive even deeper, poring over submicroscopic substances only he could comprehend. At that point, I became just another instrument in another lab. From the writings of William Fraser, such is the human condition. Despite whatever mask of confidence we choose to wear, deep down, we secretly yearn to be recognized and embraced, not for what we do, but for who we are. No one truly thrives in solitude. They barely survive. To truly live, they must find companionship in someone they can trust to simultaneously keep them grounded while encouraging them to fly. Lex, it's Clark. I know you're in there. Open up, okay? I want to tell you something. Something about me I should have told you earlier. Come on, I brought a peace offering. Then enter and prepare to be stunned, young McDonald. E-I-E-I. Oh, wow.
Can I say one thing real quick that I've noticed? And this is a common thing I have with Brian Hitch. While he has same face syndrome, in my opinion, the exterior, like everything but face, it's like I had this opinion when I read Ultimates. When you read books that he drew, it really looks like it's a movie.
It does. That's why people loved Ultimates. It was a cinematic take on, yeah.
Exactly. And he's one of my, what I call very, 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 very detail-oriented artists, and that each thing, you can tell he put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this. And I'm like,
yes.
It just looks, sure the faces, it looks amazing.
Yeah, and even the faces, though, it's one of those games of trying to be realistic, but not
trying it's not horrible. Like this way, there are so many other artists that are worse.
What's his name?
Maybe
Greg Land. Greg Land.
Well, Greg Land traces straight from porn, but I'm talking about like maybe Gary Frank kind of suffers from this.
Early Gary Frank, I would say the early Superman, because his early stuff was great. I think there was just that midpoint where Gary Frank really suffered, but I think he's gotten better lately.
He's gotten better. Like when I see like Geiger.
Geiger. Yeah,
Geiger, it's much better. But when you look at like Superman Secret Origin, I'm like,
No, that was during that quirky or the regular Superman run. Yeah. Again, crackhead kid.
Yeah, and again, it's not really like bad. I enjoy most of his stuff.
I think he needs the right inker for Gary Frank.
Yeah,
and I think that's exactly the issue. I don't think he had a good inker on the main Superman book. I think he has a great inker on Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what is this? Vindication, my ticket to immortality. A transformer powerful enough to create a wormhole. You know what that is, right? That's a tunnel through space and time. It's also science fiction. Is this about your series of extraterrestrials? They're not series, Kent. There must be life beyond our planet. There have to be beings out there. Now, see, this is where it differs from Birthright. He wasn't building a wormhole generator. He was trying to communicate.
Okay.
If you recall, like there was a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
There must be life beyond our planet. There have to be beings out there who are far more advanced than the Cro-Magnons I'm forced to places where someone like me belong. I cannot be alone in the universe, Clark. Do you understand? And tonight, I'll prove it. Lex, maybe you don't have to build something dangerous in dangerous machines to find. Here, I'll demonstrate for you. Check it, and right now, check this out. It's a meteorite. I found it not far from your farm, and it will allow me to rewrite the laws of physics. And you know what this moment is.
Mm-hmm.
Because he flinches to it, Lex interprets him as cowering.
Okay, I see.
Yep. It gives off a unique radiation that's inexplicably clean, Clark, and as miraculous as it sounds, completely harmless. And yet, it can power my machine. This is what will allow me to reach beyond our solar system, beyond our galaxy. Well, speak. This is your last chance to congratulate the old pre-legendary Lex Luthor. Say something, for God. You ignorant jackass. Get away from me, you goddamn hick farm boy. You think I don't know that look? You're afraid of me because you think I'm a freak. Lex, it's not you. Look, Lex, you don't understand. I don't know. I don't what? And what? How dare anyone say that to me? You're just like the rest of them. I tell you to go to hell, you pathetic yokel, but you already live here. Get out! Tonight, now, reroute the electricals and, ow, and bypass breakers 2 and 4, and I can, Lex, I'm sorry, let me in. Please, Lex, I need to know. That's it. Almost. Contact! I did it! I really, warning, overload, EM field, breach. Lex, let me in. This is my fault. This is all my fault. Forgive me for intruding on your memory, Kal-El. It was so powerful I couldn't help but eavesdrop. It was the first time I ever encountered kryptonite. I had no idea what it was or why it felt like a hailstorm of razors. It took me hours to recover. Lex was gone when I awoke. Long gone. That was the last anyone in Smallville ever heard from Lex Luthor. Construction hazmat teams all but salted the earth to eradicate any evidence of his figurative footprints. And now he doesn't care where he steps or on who. And Superman, snap out of it. Hold Luthor down so I can sedate him. Ugh, what's happening? As you can see, the pathogen is drawing energy from somewhere outside itself, turning Luthor into a human furnace. Every cure I attempted inflames his lymphatic and constricts his vascular system to the point of nearly causing a stroke. I've seen similar symptoms in other species. Unfortunately, while there are potential remedies, 21st century Earthlings are too fragile to withstand them. You've finally given me a problem I cannot solve. You traveled 1,000 years for that? Can't you idiots at least Google my fate? It's a fair question. Records could provide a shortcut to its cure. Would that we could, but Earth's historical data has been lost or corrupted more than once over the last 10 centuries. I wish I could.
God, doesn't the Legion have a rule that they'll never reveal what the future or like what happens before?
True, but when they're done, which is what he's going to say. I wish I could offer more. Just know that this man is truly your enemy. Stay vigilant. I was. It didn't occur to Brainy that I was monitoring Luthor's pulse and neural patterns. I was still worried Lex was setting a trap, even though you can't get a lie past me if I'm looking for it. Pasta corrupted? How cliche is that? We know full well what became of Luthor. You didn't tell Superman because I knew what it would do to him. See?
Mm-hmm.
He admits he lied.
Which I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. I like that.
Oh, here's the bit I know you hate.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. So far, this is the only ding I will give this series. Why I can't give it like above an 8.
I would still say though, her action, what she's going to do here, is a little understandable, just not justified.
It's not in character with Wonder Woman. She would never do this.
Right, exactly.
Because her morality is more aligned with Superman, that she would try and help someone because she, like Superman, believes in redeeming someone.
True. But of course, to be fair, though, we don't know how this version of Wonder Woman is. We're just seeing her in here now.
I know. It's another version of Wonder Woman that's like this. I'm just like, oh, come on.
It's for the sake. This is a case where, as Pika would say, the story moves the character rather than the character moves the story.
Which is stupid.
Agreed. You never fail people. You're failing me. I'm beginning to suspect it's purposeful, and it's making me angry. We're not out of option, but this next one's going to require some negotiation. So let me do the talking. All of it. Superman, stop. There are warrants out for this sociopath arrested 32 countries. The Justice League has been asked to take him into custody. He is no longer your problem. Diana, I respect what you're saying, and he will be delivered. He will pay for his crimes. You have my word on that. But I need to bring him in alive. I've heard it said the Amazons of Paradise Island have a unique therapeutic technology, a purple ray capable of healing all ills and wounds. As your friend, I ask that you grant me access. How dare you?
Yep, this is stupid. This part is dumb.
I know.
She would not punch Superman.
Right. People look to you to protect them. And me without my camera. I make a fortune streaming this. Diana, instead you betray them. You blacken every leaker's reputation. What gives you the right? No matter how much we want to, we can't save everyone. You helped so many of us come to grips with that. Every moment of every day, there are people all around the world who die because Superman's not there for them. Why does this have to be any different? There's no sin in simply allowing fate to take its course and making humanity suffer. The world trusts you. Yes. And you know why? Because I never let them see me as a weapon. All it takes, Diana, all it takes to obliterate that trust is the sight of me willfully allowing one single mortal being to come to harm. Because then it becomes he passed judgment on them. Will he pass judgment on me? All right, for you, I'll take him. You go and cap a volcano or something. The rest of the league's been covering for you, and Flash doesn't know the first thing about repairing crumbling glaciers. Besides, you know the rules. No man sets foot on Themyscira.
He's been there.
Again, we don't know about this version.
This is so stupid.
I know, dude. Again, you can't assume what happened in regular continuity applies here.
I can assume that she wouldn't punch Superman.
Well, that part, yes, but it feels like, again, we don't know what's led up to this. This is why I give it the benefit of a doubt of we don't know what their history is.
But she's on the Justice League. At a certain point, she would have opened up man's world. By the way, first off, I love that if you go to the panel where she punches him, she must have a really flexible neck.
True.
He's practically like reversed. I'm like, what the hell? I just noticed that. What is up with that neck? Wow. And you're muted.
Hello, hello?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I think it's because he wanted to show off her back rather than her rack.
No, that's fine. And to be clear, it's a fantastic angle. But it's like all this, I'm like, I'm sick and tired. It's because this is the way Mark Waid traditionally depicts Diana, as this violent warrior princess.
Which it was fine in Kingdom Come because at least that's the case where she's more overcompensating because she.
Well, because you know why? That was more Alex Ross and not Mark. It's the more Mark Waid has talked in recent years, the more it's convinced me that Kingdom Come, the story was more Alex Ross than Mark Waid.
Yes, and to be fair, that's what it always was. But even when Mark Waid worked on it, he did good stuff with it.
To a degree.
Yeah, I think it was a case where I still say Kingdom Come was the combination of both of them.
Yeah, except still more Alex Ross, which is why. Well, here's why I say that. If you read like Wonder Woman: Spirit of Truth, where that's like Alex Ross and Paul Dini, that is 110% Diana.
Right. But yeah, understand. Just don't let him out of your sight and count the silverware. Hey. Dying man here. Handle with care. Good Lord, woman. All this advanced science backing an Amazonian army, and you hide it behind the set from Clash of the Titans rather than use it to govern continents? What are you so afraid of? Us. And us? You're radiating fear. Nonsense. I am scared. Goddamn truth, Lasso. I'm not going to go down. This was not the end I envisioned. That you die on a golden throne with all life on Earth under your boot heel? You're thinking too small. I'm on the cusp of mastering interstellar travel. This puny mudball can't be my burial ground. It cannot. It's not fair. I'm dying. Meanwhile, for all we know, the Kryptonian is immortal, eager to keep us looking down at us humans with godly disdain until the end of time. You're projecting. Do you really want to know what Superman sees when he looks at ordinary people, Luthor? He stands in awe, watching them go through their daily lives without his powers, taking risks just by crossing the street or climbing a ladder. In his eyes, you soldier through the darkest times without super strength. You face unfathomable challenges without invulnerability. You're made of tissue paper, and yet you could do anything. He doesn't see you as inferiors. If anything, he marvels at your bravery. You're his heroes. You're lying. No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Lasso, I like that.
You held him in the lasso the entire time? Did you see anything surprising? Not especially, but I wasn't really fishing. What most don't realize about the lasso is that it's not only extracts the truth, it tends to make one receptive to it. Ah! So she said all that because she also knew he would more likely accept it.
Okay, so that's an interesting way to expand on the lasso because again, see, here's the thing with the lasso, and its truthness, it changes depending on what the writer wants it to be. But I do like this because that makes sense with a lasso of truth.
Now, I want to say though, I can also believe a case where it's like, if you ever read the Return of Barry Allen story.
Is that the one that's after he comes back and he's like reintegrating?
No, this is the one where it's during Wally's time. It's the one where he believes Barry is bad, but then Barry starts to act darker as it goes on. And then
And I think it's not Barry.
No, it's Zoom.
Okay, that makes sense.
But there was a point at the very start where Hal used his ring on him, and it said, as far as he could tell, it is Barry. He's telling the truth. And then later it was made clear the reason why it fooled even the ring is because he truly thought he was Barry. He truly did. Like in his mind, nothing about it convinced him otherwise. And I do believe even the lasso would have fallen for it if he was that convinced.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what they kind of did to explain away Diana snapping Lord's neck is because he was that. If someone believes it hard enough, it comes across as truth with the lasso.
Exactly.
Which is stupid. I'm not a big fan of that.
Whatever illness has struck him, it's beyond our science to treat. Not the first time I've heard that today. Doesn't leave me much science and choice then. If not science, Cal, be cautious. I can accept grudgingly that you're aiding Luthor, but impairing yourself to do so is unacceptable. Magic. You're talking about magic. I hate magic. No, wait. It's the only thing besides kryptonite you're vulnerable to. I love magic.
Love that.
So who you taking the next swing? Zatanna? Dr. Fate? Put this on. It counters the ocean's pressures and allows you to see and hear. A bone induction headset to receive the vibration of your voice. Clever. Is the suit not? It's not the pressure. Spasms coming faster. I just need a moment. Is this your new plan to lose me in the Mariana Trench? Your pal Aquaman tried that once. I warned him how hard you are to keep imprisoned, and lesson learned. So you're taking me to the city of Atlantis? City is a misnomer. Atlantis is a continent, Lex. Aquaman rules over the section known as Poseidonus. This is Tritonus. Oh, this is where he's going to meet with Laurie.
That's cool. I like Laurie as a character.
Yep, they're actually welcoming you. They must not have heard I must have heard I was your +1. All right then, aren't you going to introduce me, Superman? Well, I thought you were all about Lois What's-Her-Face. Lois What's-Her-Face? Really? Okay, that is one thing that definitely makes us not direct like Birthright.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would know it's Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Are you telling me Superman is a side piece? Tell me I'm in a romance novel. Came all this way so you could look in each other's eyes? For God's sake, I'm not your wingman. Stop ignoring me.
I love this dialogue so far. This is great.
I'm not your wingman.
Oh my God, this is fantastic. I love it.
You need not raise your voice, Lex Luthor. Oh God, telepathy again. I adore it when strangers march around in my brain. And you are King Ronald. The woman you are denigrating is Laurie Lamaris, my bride. I'm not the one moving in on your territory, Nemo. Okay, the just being as Lex, you look like Patrick Stewart.
A little bit.
Superman and Laurie are old and dear friends. He's merely communicating his needs. No kidding. For me, he is not worth saving. He can hear your intensity. He is meant to. Very well. Legend has it what you seek can be found in the magical garden of Bellatrix. Around it stands a legend familiar to even the children of Tritonus. There and only there grows the fruit of Arion, which is said healed the mad King Bellatar of his greatest illness. Show me where. No, you stay here. I will go. Laurie, Arano, what is it? We do not often refer to the fruit's home as the Garden of Bellatar. We refer to it as the Garden of Death. Oh! Wow!
Oh!
I love Brian Hitch's monsters.
Oh, yeah. And it kind of reminds me of course, whenever you talk about this part of Atlantis, this kind of reminds me of Superman Year One a little bit.
But better!
But way better. Way better!
Hey, Orca, over here! You took the risk to buy me 1 second. Super speed, 1 second's like a week to you. Plenty of time to come up with a strategy. So, I can't make heads or tail of its molecular structure. Indigestion is a risk. This is a certainty. I'll take those odds. You know, maybe it'll turn me into a sorcerer capable of squeezing you like a grape. Hope springs a turtle. Anything? Something. Noise in my head. Oh! So much for magic. X-ray vision shows no change. What? What was that? The Mad King's greatest illness, of course. It was a psychiatric curative, not a physical one. There are no secrets in a telepathic society. Our minds are wholly open to each other. For a moment, Luthor experienced what he was one with in the Tridians. He felt all we feel, saw all that we see. Empathy is a foodstuff. It was horrible. They, all of them, view you with such honor. So I see. Laurie was one of Superman's great loves. Their romance ended in tears. Each and every time he visits us, he is reminded of that heartbreak. It causes him immense pain, and yet he never hesitates, not for an instant, to come to our aid. How can you not recognize such selflessness? Luthor, stop! I can't even look at you right now. Just get me out of here. Over the next 20.
Break up?
It was never. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since I've read that. But over the next 24 hours, Lex and I crisscrossed the universe, from to every alien race, every extraterrestrial terrain I thought might have some slim chance. All for naught. Lex simply grew weaker and weaker. So Maxima, Adam Strange, the Guardian.
Oh, the good Maxima,
Spectre,
you mean?
Yep, Spectre, Zoltar, Mixie, the New Gods, the Dominators, the Sanagarians, Darkseid even.
Yeah, the New Gods, yeah.
But even Darkseid.
Are you sure he actually went to Darkseid?
Well, why would Darkseid? Well,
I think to symbolize the New Gods.
True, that is true.
Because why would Darkseid help a human?
True. Nothing was working. Where's the justice? I'm in the Arctic, and yet I'm sweating like walking in the Sahara. You're reaching some sort of final stage. Stay hydrated. And you seem angry. That's not a typical Superman frame of mind. Keep thinking about time lost, time wasted. Almost all the gifts of humanity Lex Luthor could have created if he had taken another path. It's not too late, Lex. If you just, maybe you should refocus your self-righteous energy and increase your chance of actually accomplishing something useful here. You have no idea how hard I'm working or why. Why do you do anything? Probably because you're pampering over some secret guilt. Struck a nerve, did I? Shut up, Lex. That's it. Order me around. Order me around. Order the poor beauty human around. How dare you pretend you didn't stand in my way every day of my life, belittling me, but just by existing? What could I have been if not for you? You're right. What? All these years, I've tried everything conceivable to reach you, Lex. Absolutely everything except this. McDonald, E-I-E-I-O. This is impossible. I'm hallucinating. A fever dream. You and that milquetoast can't possibly be the same. My secret's been right in front of you for years, Lex. But you've been such a manic hatred for all things Smallville that became your blind spot. To justify everything you've become since you had to convince yourself that Smallville and everything in it was utterly meaningless. Never worth a second thought. I failed you, Lex. I failed my best friend. You were the victim of my most monumental mistake, and there's not a week goes by that I don't regret it. If I had told you who I really was back then, that I was the proof of the alien life your fragile mind was obsessing over, I could have saved you. Instead, I made an error in judgment, so immense it cheated this world of the kind of genius that comes along maybe once a century. There's so much good you could have done. You could have done that we could have done together. I'm sorry. He's sorry. For what? Typical. Somehow my life is all about you. Stop. I love that this has clearly tormented you, but you're making it out to be a tragedy. Are you joking? My life? Stop. You're the Superman who couldn't even get the girl. My life was great. Stop! What? Vision. Hearing. Nothing. Nothing's working. My powers. What happened to me? You. Welcome to my world, I guess. Luthor, you poisonous snake! What have you done? That's a direct quote from the Reeve movie.
Okay. I remember that.
Wait, and that's the case where he manipulates Lex the Warren's like, Luthor, you poisonous snake!
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I knew it. Betrayal was the first thing that went through my head. Careful, but you tricked me. I'm an imbecile. You never would have come to me for help. I should have trusted my instincts. Actually, instead, I fell right into your trap. Will you listen to me? My hand to God. I have no idea what's going on here. None. You're Lex Luthor. You're lying. No, he speaks truthfully. It is a trap, just not his. Brainiac. The Brainiac was behind it all.
Wow.
And all that was just the second issue.
Yeah, a lot happens in that. My God.
So, again, what are you thinking of this so far as we're going through? Again,
short of the Wonder Woman part, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Many years ago, the people of the planet Colu prioritized ambition over caution, as civilizations tend to. I just realized something. In a lot of ways, Colu is Krypton at its most extreme.
Yeah, a lot. That's the extreme case.
Yeah, I mean, even with the burn stuff, it's still a paradise compared to Colu at its worst.
Mm-hmm.
They created an AI so advanced it took control of their planet, and not peacefully. Colu's new computer overlords, hungry to spread their rule through the cosmos, built an emissary, the emotionless xenobiologist named Brainiac, who travels from world to world, miniaturizing and pirating population samples to calculate a planet's threat potential and steal its knowledge. Dangerous doesn't begin to describe Brainiac, and its command over all seems mechanical. Of all my enemies, there's only one whose ruthlessness genuinely terrifies me. And standing before me at his mercy, all Lex could say was, "Are you kidding me?" Mm-hmm. And shut up, Lex. Let me think. And do. It always fascinates me to see what passes for cognition in a humanoid brain. I know, right? Let me see if I got this. You hustled me. You arranged it and for the accident that altered myself. So they leached Superman's ability to process solar energy, leaving him powerless and me a human furnace. An accurate assessment. I'm impressed as a murder victim can be, but for your plan to work, ideally it would have been been best to infect someone closer to Superman. Lane, that Olsen kid maybe. The Phantom Zone projector. No! Oh, he destroyed it. Mm-hmm. Why me? Why Lex Luthor? What you humans call professional courtesy. You always want to destroy Superman. This is my gift to you. Oh, for God's sake. We're trapped. Tell me there's a back door to this place. It wouldn't be much of a fortress, and then keep him distracted. Making Superman just another human, then. That's hardly destroying him. Incorrect. Humanity is the ultimate poison. Thus, for Earthlings to be of genuine use to me, my drones must first modify them. Modify? How? He didn't answer. Lex, look out! You won't get this far and get far with this. I have plenty of friends dedicated to protecting this world. Oh, I'm familiar.
He locked up the Justice League.
Which, to be fair, if there's anyone you can believe, you can see doing this
Brainiac can.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Of all the villains, he's one of the few you can see do it off screen and believe it.
That's what's kind of funny. Brainiac would make a great villain for a Justice League movie.
He would. But you would.
He is that level of threat.
You know, I've realized we've never seen Brainiac, a proper Brainiac versus Darkseid.
Oh, that would be actually really dope.
And I'm talking about a proper, all-powerful Brainiac, not the normal Brainiac.
Not the Suicide Squad kill the Justice League Brainiac.
No, that one was a credible threat.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, that one was like this level of threat.
I mean, he could like imitate the powers of the League, so I guess you're right on that.
Yeah, I am familiar. And they are every bit as helpless as you are. Where? Hold on. And so do we both and so do we both have a plan or just me? Is that my universal translator? Not anymore. I may have pocketed one or two things, so we're not totally helpless. If I build a gravity nullifier out of 2 light bulbs and a speaking spell, exaggerated, but not by much, I can certainly slap together an anti-brainiac weapon. Out of just that, if Radio Shack were still a thing, I could conquer the galaxy. Hey,
I like that.
if you applied your genius to humankind, you could have enjoyed the admiration of millions. To care what people think of me would be to acknowledge they have value. I've been used. I'm mad, and I can track his drones. Surely he really does look like Stewart here, but I think that's to imply how old he's gotten.
Pretty soon he's gonna say, "Make it so."
Yeah, but would you agree that's probably to indicate like a Patrick Stewart as an old man Luthor?
I could see that.
You have to explain the Britishness of it, but still.
Yeah, I could say so.
Let's go work that anger off. Please, we've done nothing.
Wait, he's the Lex Luthor in that Elseworld story that would be if Superman landed in the UK.
Oh, no, nah.
I'm just saying, dude.
I know. It's a possibility.
Explain the Britishness.
Oh, you know what? You got a point there. Just 1 second. But yeah, I'm mad. I can track his drone. Let's go and let's go work that anger off. Please, we've done nothing. Help! Somebody help! Not my children. I'm begging you. Oh, you will enter the facility. No one will be spared the opportunity to serve Brainiac. They're attacking each other. Move! As good as his word, Lex has cobbled together a makeshift drone override from random fortress tech. You're enjoying this. If these are my last moments, may they bloat with vengeance. Viva la revolution! Lex wasn't there to be a savior. He just wanted to take his rage out on Brainiac however he could, while he still could. My body was fighting off Brainiac's infection, giving me Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyway, my body was fighting off Brainiac's infection, giving me time and back the tiniest fraction of power. A little muscle, a sliver of heat vision, but it was dwindling fast. Oh, ick. And behold, Superman, humans modified into data storage. Aye!
Mm-hmm.
All right, throughout the cosmos, the human being is extraochemically unique. It's the cerebral cortex possesses over 125 trillion synapses, giving each human 2.5 petabytes of overall memory capacity, enough to stock the entirety of a civilization's knowledge with room to spare. Even now, my drones have begun processing Earthlings across the globe, harvesting brains to be kept eternally alive, so their gray cells may catalog for me the secrets of the universe. And then the drones revived. The Luthor's device had worked. But as always, he assumed his opponent was inferior and cunning. Otherwise, he'd have guessed that while Brainiac soldiers could be hobbled, they wouldn't stay that way. Naturally, Brainiac would make them self-healing for maximum efficiency. And Brainiac is nothing if not efficient.
Dope. I was going to say that is a dope image.
Exactly. You cannot stop me, Superman. And nor should you. I am giving purpose to those without. I expect gratitude, not defiance. Then you came to the wrong planet, pal. My God, you fight like a tomato can. Has Batman taught you nothing? We have to go nothing. We have to go. The people we have to save. We can't. Not this way. Come on. I have a lab underneath the Metro Dam. I destroyed that one. Remember, your gullibility knows no bounds. Fly. I have fought. I repelled countless alien invasions. I had never failed my adopted home, which is why its people turn to me in their greatest need and their times of greatest need. They tell me just a glimpse of Superman in flight gives them hope. But that day, as the citizens of Earth looked into the sky, they saw nothing but emptiness. Luthor and I were both dying inside. Welcome to Lab 17 sub-basement. Whenever I want to set up a new facility, I put a smaller decoy on top of it, just to fool you on your fists. Ah!
Okay.
I like that, a smaller decoy.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, the real thing is below it.
Up over there, the cabinet. There's a biomilitant that will heal your wounds. Ah! You need rest. No time. Let's get into work. I want my pound of silicon. You know what they say about revenge? Not really. No. Oh, there must be places fully shielded against solar radiation. We can try to find. Again, no time. I'm too far gone, McDonald. But speaking of the sun, let's go. Let's get some satellite cameras working. If Brainiac's feeling a worldwide operation, it most likely source of power is Florida's favorite giant fusion reactor. Magnify and focus. See, there's a ship, almost certainly turning the sun's rays into its own brand of transmutable energy. We need to smithereen that process. Tell me you have some idea. Tell me the ocean has some fish. I need to. All right, I'll provide the instructions. You provide the labor. What do you need me to build? What I order you to. Don't waste time with questions. Just try to keep up. Time passed. Luthor barely moved. I wish you told me back in Smallville. I mean, would it have made a difference? Yes, it would have. Again, with the ego. I admit it might have been nice to feel, to not feel so much like an outsider. Tell me about it. But I still ended up with everything I could have ever wanted, except my corpse. Almost everything. Mm-hmm. How'd that work out for you in the end? We didn't speak for the rest of the afternoon. Done. How exactly would it take out Brainiac's ship? It won't. What? Not directly. We need more time and resources than we have. This is for you and me. It enables genetic transference. It's matched specifically to the two of us. What? You put your hand in that sleeve and Brainiac's death trap reverses. The solar processing power goes back into you. Your cells and your powers return to Noble. And what happens to you? I die. Unacceptable. You wasted our time on this. The entire world is in danger. You sociopath. Of all the possible solutions, killing me is the only one available. The only one. And it has to be done before my body shuts down altogether. It's still murder for a greater good. You saw that abattoir, and that was just one of who knows how many working how quickly. Listen to me, Clark. Your ridiculous fairy tale ethics may bring you comfort, but they make no logical sense. Of course, Superman can trade one life to save 8 billion. The math here is not hard. Look, everybody wins in this scenario. The world wants me dead, humanity gets to live, and Brainiac gets his ass kicked by Superman. I made a vow long ago to preserve all. The hell with your vow! Your powers are all but spent. You have no weapons, you have no allies, you have nothing. Everyone's counting on you to do the right thing, and every second you hesitate, more people die. But what you were clearly born to be. Be the hero this world needs. Everyone wins. You forget to count yourself. If you force me to portray who I am, what I stand for you win. Not really. I'll never come back from this. Unlike overprivileged Kryptonians, the rest of us have to make certain sacrifices in life. This one is yours. I know. Ah! Oh. Mm-hmm. What happened? I made a last-second adjustment to your machine. I reversed the flow. It didn't remove solar processing from your genetic code. Instead, it rewrote your entire cellular structure to match mine. With your machine destroyed, the effect is permanent. Your body not only healed, but you have my powers. You're kidding. You're not kidding.
Interesting.
I was on the ropes. Not one sentient being in the galaxy would have blamed you if you'd gone through with my plan. Why didn't you? Coming from a genius, that's an exceptionally stupid question. I figured you'd be thrilled. Thrilled? I'm appalled! My God, it's not enough to force me to watch people worship you. Now you made me into you. It's not about a world at risk from Brainiac. You know, the villain who made you his pawn. Are you trying to bait me? You turned me into a god. You're an idiot. We both know that's not true. But I'm not necessarily smart enough to beat Brainiac. You are. Revenge, pride, I don't care what your motives are. Right this second, all of humanity is counting on you to act, to do what I've always believed our whole lives you're capable of doing. The right thing. Is Brainiac still transmitting to his drones? I can no longer process solar energy. What little power I have left needs conserving. You look. This is unreal. I can make out the entire electromagnetic spectrum. It's beautiful. And yes. Wait, you're coming with us? You're not alone, Lex. You never were. Fine. Does that fancy ring of yours protect you from the vacuum of space? It does. Then let's head up. Up and away.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! Look at that!
That's quite a fleet.
No, look at the big ship!
Yeah.
Whoa. Right. Flying unaided through space is new to you. Don't get smug. It's a bad look for you anyway. I've dealt enough with brainless technology over the years to know where best to throw the monkey wrenches. Excellent. You shut down a solar converter. I'll handle the intergalactic mastermind. Do you mean... I know. Do you mean we were under attack? From whom? Surprise! It turns out the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy. Processing observation. I see what you've done. Genetic exchange. How clever of you. Am I to presume that Kryptonian is deceased then? Don't rush me. You're the target du jour. Before you debase us both by resorting to physical combat, have you first considered how similar our goals are? Defeat of Superman, subjugation of Earth, etc., etc. But more importantly, and here's where we're not in agreement. No one gets the best of Lex Luthor. No one. Lex, if you can hear me, I'm nearly shot. Work fast. Your tantrums is pointless. You know from experience that you cannot penetrate my personal force field. I'm getting to that. You conned me. You poisoned me. You made me watch literally thousands of people kiss Superman's ass. And worst of all, you very nearly made the two of us friends again. And then I concur that friendship is a human. And then you concur that friendship is a human concept and therefore toxic. Oh, shut up. I admit, I had not foreseen your ability to salvage Superman's powers. Given that I am now facing an opponent with a far more ruthless nature, my odds of defeat have elevated. So not significantly. You've absorbed enough of the Kryptonian's genetics to leave you vulnerable to red solar radiation. Victory, therefore, remains mine. The one variable I had not anticipated was Superman's inability to reach a rational conclusion. A solution to his powerless state made no logical sense. The people of Earth need him. They do not need you. Oh, good God. Even you take his side. Lex, if you're listening, grab onto something. I've got no choice but to put everything I have into one last shot. Damn. Okay, now that you're off balance, let's pressure weld some radiation shielding around that red sun gizmo of yours and go for a little ride. Here's what happens now. I'd make you guess, but I cannot resist the urge to rub your annoying face in the brilliance shed by billions of human neurons subtly firing at super speed. I doubt Superman's ever used his heat vision inside old Saul here. I mean, why would he? Right? It's redundant. Except at this intensity, overjuiced this much, my eyes are generating the next level up from measly heat. Gamma radiation. And it's going to cut through that force field of yours like a paper bag. No. And that should just about do it. No. They hit the remote Queensmary Peak at near light speed, causing a crater the size of Salt Lake City. The flight brains got me there not long after, but even it was sputtering after taking so much damage. I was finally and completely powerless. Lex and Seed. Luthor, I'm warning you, drop that. He could still be dangerous. No, he's done. Well then, what now? What do you mean? You've been given a second chance at life, Lex, to determine what kind of man you're going to be going forward. How about King of the World, Emperor of the Galaxy, Lord of all space and time? The possibilities are infinite, aren't they? I sincerely hope not. They can be. Lex Luthor, repair me and I can slack your incapable search for knowledge. Together, we can gather the secrets of the universe. Accompany me. No thanks. I belong here. I beat you. Hardly. In the event of total catastrophic failure, my consciousness automatically uploads to a distant outpost. Given that you are still vulnerable to a red sun, I'd recommend you fly to safety while my body self-destructs. Uh-oh. And now it's the last anyone ever saw of Lex Luthor. The eruption flattened hundreds of square miles. In the aftermath, Superman was discovered near the edge of the blast radius, injured but not seriously affected. other than the demonstrable and permanent loss of his powers. With the aid of Amazonian science, Earth's other heroes were freed from captivity and wasted no time in scrubbing clean any vestiges of the horrors Brainiac had bestowed. 3 days later, Superman called a press conference to explain what happened. After reassuring them that the crisis had passed, he then shocked the crowd by announcing that it would be his last public appearance. He was confident the rest of the Justice League can easily take my place. When pressed, he further verified that Lex Luthor no longer posed any threat to humanity, having died in the explosion. Ow! He took no further questions. Lex, what are you? Tell no one. He died saving him!
Oh wow, that's great. I love that.
And that's the end.
I like that. That was a good ending. I like that.
So, how was this overall story? Again, Wonder Woman part
Short of
aside.
the Wonder Woman part, it was good. I enjoyed it.
But what do you think about the fact that this could be the finale to his Birthright series?
That's great. I love it. It definitely works as that.
Yeah, and what do you think about with Brainiac?
That was cool. Of all the villains that I think could unite them, it would be Brainiac. And I like how Superman essentially transferred his powers into Lex, and Lex's final act was being a hero and not being selfish.
Exactly, and he says, tell no one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and overall, again, the Wonder Woman aside, it felt like almost most of the characterizations besides that one made sense.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Surprised we didn't have Batman show up during this.
Yeah, but what was Batman going to do to cure Lex? Lazarus Pit.
True, but apparently, given what Brainiac had done, it wouldn't have worked. But
And I mean, I could take that as a blanket because earlier in the story they did say they tried almost everything in the world, so I assume they tried that.
Yeah, but what do you think about Lex throughout all of this?
It's pretty cool seeing his evolution to finally be that guy that makes the sacrifice play.
Exactly, and their friendship. That's the heart of the story, and I love it. But yeah, to have Lex and saying, I just love how he said, like, worst of all, you nearly made us friends again.
Yeah, I know. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, again, I hope the Wonder Woman stuff doesn't take off too many points if you were to give this a 1 to 10. 1 out of 10.
I give it a 7.
7? Not bad, not bad. I mean, I thought the artwork was, for the most part, very
Artwork
good.
is straight up a 10 out of 10. Actually, it's a 9 out of 10 because of the faces.
Because of the faces, yeah, but overall, like, for this being the final story of Lex Luthor, I can't think of anything better overall.
This works 100%.
Yeah,
it's
and
also
Lex,
the last story of Superman when you think about it.
in this particular case, yeah, and the fact that even at the end, when it's given absolutely no choice but to say you have to take Lex's life, he still found a way.
Yeah.
Even if it meant sacrificing his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And once Lex died, there was no way of reversing it back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the machine got destroyed too. So yeah, just again, the fact that
they could have found a way. I'm sure they could have. It's comic books.
True, but still, just overall, just really
fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yep. Any other thoughts you want to give?
Yeah, besides the Wonder Woman stuff, I would say I like seeing the extent that Superman will go to save someone, and it's kind of and I just love how it's like it was Brainiac all along.
Yeah, but
it's kind of what that is. It has that vibe.
It made so much sense though. And again, even Lex saying like, yeah, it's playing up the whole Superman would save everyone. It's like, yes, as Wonder Woman had put it, sometimes we have to make the choice of letting people. We can't save everyone, which is true. But then Superman makes it very clear then there's a difference.
Yeah.
If someone came to him, he's not going to then say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what Lex did. Lex came to him and locked him in. It's completely different when you're having to juggle what's more important, the rescue.
Yeah.
Because of something happening. That's not condemning. It's okay, someone could look at it condemning. Can we agree that someone could? But overall, it's making a hard choice, not an easy choice. That I would say that it's easy to kill. It's hard to have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Would you agree that's a big difference?
Yeah, I would say so.
Because yeah, I mean that is the big thing. Because yeah, you're holding the person in their hand, or you're standing there making the choice. Killing is easy.
Yeah.
Having to juggle between one choice or another, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you were glad that Lois barely appeared in this.
Yes, I am. I am very much so.
Yeah, because it was all about Lex. Lex is Superman's true love.
Yeah.
I kid. I also did say I did like how Hitch handled Lex between the beginning and the end. He really does look different by the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I say, he goes from looking like Kevin Spacey to the Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, okay, maybe not Kevin Spacey, but that type of young, smooth face to wrinkled.
Mm-hmm.
But yep. So that's all we've got. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for joining me, Jared, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you later.
Take care.